Well, 15 minutes with Encompass, auto repair trends. This is the current look at industry auto accident trends as well as the complexity behind repairing autos. We'll also look at how this impacts the claim costs for the insurance industry. Customers are aware of the ever-increasing cost of new vehicles, but they may not stop to think about the sharp increase in repair costs driven by the new materials found in most autos, as well as the increasing use of both safety and technology in newer cars. Charted collision frequency from 2006 to 2015. The collision claims frequency continues to trend upward. Then 2 slides will share the impact gas prices on miles driven and the increase in auto claim counts. Average annual price of gasoline has fluctuated greatly. When gas prices are high, people don't drive as much. In 2012, prices reached a high level. Remember the previous slide where the collision frequency dipped? That was 2012. Now look at the subsequent years to 2012. Gas prices are dropping, and as depicted on the previous slide, frequency is increasing. In dollar terms, inflation, the price of gasoline in 2015 was only 7 cents higher than in 1929. When prices are low, people drive more. The miles driven correlates perfectly to bad news we're seeing on frequency numbers, and this is tied to the lower gas prices. This graph shows an increase in miles driven since 2000. The numbers on the y-axis are in trillions of miles driven per year. Gas prices, miles on the road equals more accidents, also known as frequency. So, what else is contributing to the increase in accidents? 2015 AAA Traffic Safety Culture Index, these survey questions were asked. In the past 30 days, how often have you talked on the phone while driving, sent a text message or email while driving, read a text message or email while driving? The numbers are self-reported, so while they're completely unscientific, they do provide a starting point to the conversation regarding distracted driving. Is the percentage of respondents that said they engage in the behavior fairly often or regularly. The blue line is the percentage of respondents that engaged in the behavior at any time in the past 30 days. Here are some scientific numbers. Research from the National Safety Council tells us that 10% of fatal crashes and 17% of accidents that caused injuries were the result of distracted drivers. That won't surprise you, but 9% of drivers say they recognize the danger from distractions, yet more than 35%, as you saw on the previous slide, of the same people admitted to have read or sent a text message email while driving in the previous month. So it's dangerous, but many do it anyway. Research, the National Safety Council tells us that 9%, or nearly 1 out of 10 drivers, are talking on the phone while driving at any given moment. In situations like this, when a driver needs to react immediately, there may be no margin for error. Related to distracted driving contribute to the increase in lost costs, both bodily injury and property damage. So while the number of claims is increasing, so are the severities for these losses. The payment for bodily injury is on the rise. We're not seeing any improvement in bodily injury costs. same timeline, we've gone from single side airbag or, at minimum, dual airbags available in many vehicles sold in the U.S. Manufacturers have gone well beyond the minimum, a whopping 10 or more standard airbags popping up in many common vehicles. While they save lives, medical costs are incurred, and these too continue to climb at a rapid rate. We all understand that we're having more accidents, more miles driven, lower gas prices. We saw the increase in bodily injury severity, and here are the collision severity trends. The jump in steady climb since 2012. In a publication, the National Association of Insurance Commissioners concluded the reasons for the increased average severity include vehicle technology and materials. Today, a new term has emerged in auto parts. Great. Materials that fall into this category are plastics, carbon fiber, aluminum, boron, magnesium, high-strength steel, ultra-high-strength steel, and sandwich steel. All manufacturers are chasing aggressive federal imposed miles per gallon goals, ultimately mean lighter vehicles. It is projected because of this mandate that by 2025, 8% of vehicles will contain substrate materials due to their weight sitting over steel. By the vehicles, we have an unintended outcome, increased repair costs. The estimate for vehicles with one or more damaged parts made of substrates was roughly double the estimate for vehicles without damaged substrate parts. Submaterials are largely unrepairable and lead to more expensive replacement versus repair. Why is that? Well, we'll talk more about that on the next slide. Substrate materials are generally more expensive. On repair costs, according to the CCC, Certified Collateral Corporation, the increase has been stunning. In a nutshell, aluminum, a substrate, and steel do not mix. If aluminum comes in contact with another type of metal, such as steel, the aluminum can cause both explosions and corrosion. That means sterile tools must be used, hammers, dollies, chisels, air sanders, etc. So repair shops need to have a specific tool for each material. Shops need a certification to work on substrate parts. The certification costs around $5,500. The shop will then need to consider the cost to build a sterile facility because of mixing the materials. Constructing a sterile facility could cost anywhere from $60,000 to $100,000. Take to replace the rear body panel, the bumper cover, and lower rear cover on a 2015 Honda Civic versus a 2016 Honda Civic. Now, this is one model year difference, folks. The price for the damage you see on the screen for a 2015 model would be $344. Parts on a 2016 model, $1,034. Parts prices are 3 times more expensive for one model year difference entry-level Honda. Ouch. Look at the 2012 Tucson. Per the CCC airbag solutions, the airbag harness must be replaced after an airbag deployment. According to the Hyundai dealership parts supplier, the airbag harness is incorporated into the main vehicle wiring harness and must also be replaced. This adds $3,487 in parts and labor to the overall repair cost, which may cause this vehicle with moderate damage to exceed the total loss threshold. Illustrative and somewhat humorous example of technology increases repair costs. This vehicle had an obstacle avoidance sensor, which apparently didn't help this driver avoid an obstacle. The bump cover obviously needs some help, but might not be noticeable from the outside is that the avoidance sensor was damaged in the loss and will need to be replaced. The sensor is $999. Think of this the next time you place insurance coverage on a customer's Toyota Camry. In 2016, they decided to make the front emblem transparent in order to place the forward-looking radar behind it. Any ideas on what this did to the cost just of the front emblem? The price for the emblem for the 2015 Camry. Very simple. Now the same emblem for 2016. It'll shoot back $965. Earlier of an increase in airbag usage. Here's an example where increased safety leads to increased repair costs. The actual loss shows moderate front damage to a very recent model year. By looking at the damage, what would you guess the repair cost to be? Today, north of $29,000. The repair estimate was $29,049, resulting in a total loss payout of $37,000. How can this be? Well, this vehicle has airbags integrated into the seat backs. Both seat airbags were deployed. This required new seat backs at a cost of $6,348 for just the parts. This vehicle also utilizes LED headlight technology. Lights are $1,540 each. I hope you've heard some interesting information that you can use to inform customers when the opportunity to discuss a rate increase occurs. Miles driven are up, accidents are up, bodily injury costs are up, and property damage costs are also up. It's great that we're developing cars that are safer, and consumers seem to flock to the improved technology that manufacturers are offering. But it's those same features that are contributing to the increase in property damage costs. If a customer has a loss and hasn't been to a body shop in a while, they will hear new language. Substrates, multiple integrated airbags, and so on, are resulting in higher claim payments and vehicles crossing the total loss threshold, even when an accident does not seem to be that severe. The numbers talked about today impacting the industry, and they're impacting Encompass. Hope you've heard something today that will help you when you're discussing the rising cost of insurance with your consumers. Encompass is dedicated to providing you information to help you teach your customers about the risk exposure and value you provide as an independent insurance agent in tailoring their coverage to best mitigate any potential loss. We look forward in providing you new material in future 15 minutes with Encompass.